So very good day to all the viewers and listeners. Welcome to another episode of Simon Says. Today we have our old friend David.
Hello,
Tian.
everyone.
And David, it has been quite a long time, right,
Yep.
since you came, and we're just talking about when, right? I think after the six states elections, or maybe even another show after that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's good for you to be here.
Yes.
And you know, we kind of wanted to record this earlier, but I think, you know, it has been like 2 weeks since President Donald Trump came to the ASEAN meet.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess with a bit of time, you know, we have more time to consider the impact, because remember all the initial reaction. I mean, there are two camps, right? People who say PMX did very well, you know, hosted a great meeting, and look at how Ringgit is doing now, you know, all the things.
Yeah.
Then you have, of course, the opposition. But when I say opposition, I don't mean by Perikatan, right? I mean basically the Trump derangement crowd, quite a few of them.
Yeah.
But maybe, I mean, you did write, I saw an article in Oriental Times which was written to you, but of course it was translated and it said David Cheng. So I was like, who is this David Cheng? And how come, you know, he's giving a very balanced writing? That was really my first reaction, you know.
Okay.
Then later I found out it was you. So your maybe we talk about your article first, then we can have some general comment on how we think the whole Trump ASEAN gathering goes. So your article is kind of like a preview of his trip, and you kind of frame it, you know, like some people like him, some people don't like him, and why it is important, because like I mean, of course, Obama gave a lot of attention to ASEAN. Those days, they wanted to do the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, which didn't materialize. And then Trump, in his first term, didn't do much. So you gave a preview, and towards the end of your article, you are saying that, you know, will people make the right decision and things like that? Because even leading up to the whole meeting, we are not very sure what is the agenda, right?
Yeah, I think for the first, I can talk about the articles. I wrote it before Trump arrived Malaysia. So all the ideas of writing this speech is, one day I discussed a thing with my colleagues. It's like, you know, actually why? Because she's like, I don't know what is the thing at the ASEAN summit doing for Malaysia. I'm like, actually got something.
So you're a non-political friend.
He's my colleaague.
Your colleague, okay.
She's my colleague. So I'm like, I just talk. I'm like, actually it got a huge impact, because it's the first time since Trump 1.0, he just came to Philippines ASEAN summit. That's it. He don't care about ASEAN anymore. And now Trump 2.0, first year, not even 1 year, you know, it's like almost 1 year lah. So he just came back to the ASEAN Pacific. So some scholars say it's the sign that America want to emphasize ASEAN Pacific again. So start from there, I just talked to her why Trump and why it will benefit Malaysia diplomacy policy. And I didn't expect that in the essay, in the article I write, if Malaysia will treat Trump well, maybe it's a plus point for Malaysia. So exactly when Donald Trump just arrived Malaysia, he danced, which is out of everyone's expectation. Secondly, he invite Anwar PMX into the beast.
Yeah,
It's unthinkable for us, because we are kind of like worried whether Anwar Palestinian rally, all the things will affect all the things. But no, Donald Trump is super happy. Whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, but that's it. It just happened. So after all the ASEAN summit, we can say it's a good job for Malaysia. I think it's one of the most successful ASEAN summit around in the history. We can say like that.
actually, I was just reading your article like 2 weeks later. I wanted to say it's almost like, because you frame it like, you know, would they be a great thing? It's almost prophetic in a sense that, you know, because you are saying that, you know, it would be great if it happened, and it really exceeded the expectation. So Lara, what's your impression? I mean, it's 2 weeks already. I mean, we had so much talk about this, right? I mean, just a visit generally.
Yeah, I think even in the last episode, we kind of talk about, I mean, also in a similar sense, it would be great if Malaysia become that neutral place that world leaders choose to have certain peace deal to be done here on. And it's like, it's almost like there is that unbiased perception that Malaysia was able to host, because in this context, I mean, just days before the arrival of Trump, and you still have like a lot of like pro-Palestinian causes. I mean, not saying that, I mean, you can't support some of these causes that you are generally passionate about, but it's like when you're hosting world leaders here, I mean, we want to show some great hospitality that Malaysia has always had, and that really sort of happened. So I thought it was like fantastic. I mean, really, I mean, I was also very impressed that, wow, I mean, PMX got invited to on a ride in the Beast. So, and they do genuinely seem to have like great rapport, great, like just very, very cordial. I think it's a bit beyond cordial, but it's actually more friendly, the way they talk and joke with each other. I mean, talking about PMX and also Trump. So I thought it was like, wow, very, very interesting. It's like both are very...
Yeah, I mean, people are like kind of like, you know, is it going to be a because you have seen how Trump kind of put down world leaders. You know, John Carney went to White House. You know, Ramaphosa went to White House. You know, it's like you can get snubbed quite badly, and like Malaysia is nowhere near all these nations.
Yeah,
but I really felt like I mean, you can say he's a great businessman, you know, but I felt like that happiness is kind of genuine.
Yeah, I do think so.
And probably he saw the possibility of Malaysia, you know, to be a different kind of nation, to be like a moderate. I mean, you saw how he go to Middle East, and like I think just yesterday, the Syrian president went to White House. So he is not afraid. He's not ideologue. You know, we always say Trump is not ideologue. So you know, he can meet he can meet China president, he can meet North Korea president. You know, he's not confined by the political game of the establishment, I guess.
But I think what's even more amazing is that he actually bring a very sizable and respectable entourage with him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have like the Secretary of State, Treasury Secretary. I mean, the Secretary of War. I mean, like all these people are like top tier people that you don't generally see gather at one place unless you are of importance. So I thought it was like very, very much. I'm just glad Malaysia showed the same amount of hospitality to United States.
They did very, very well. Now, David, I want to ask you. Of course, you work in the government, and I think there are no shortage of Trump derangement people that you know. But do you think anything changed?
I think after the ASEAN summit, we can see how far Malaysia can go. It's like we are famous of our neutrality in the region, but also we show that we have a potential to become just like what Lara said. We can be the place where maybe there's a peace deal. If you want to choose in ASEAN, why not Malaysia? We got the neutrality now. It's standing out after this ASEAN summit. I think in the government sector, people start to think, if we want to treat the world superpower leader, we need to be fair. If you treat Xi Jinping like that, you treat Donald Trump the same. You treat Putin the same. It's not that we hate him or love him, just like what I mentioned in the articles. It depends on how Malaysia can perform in the international society. So it's a great move, and I think something is changing in the government sector. People will see like, okay, we cannot side to each side, but we can only champion for our national agenda, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because I mean, there's a lot of technical discussion. I mean, because so many people, the early days, Perikatan, Zaid Ibrahim, I mean, these are the Trump derangement gang, right? And they're just like saying, oh, you know, Malaysia gave up the sovereignty and things like that. But of course, a lot of people don't even understand this is a reciprocal agreement. It's not a treaty. Even if it's a treaty, you can still accede and things like that. And I think just today, right, I think because you know some of the PKR gang, you know, whenever they have opportunity, you know who, right? I mean, I think in a healthy democracy, it's okay to have this kind of, I mean, Rafizi and gang, which I think is totally fine, but they are calling for RCI, right? For this, I mean, it's like if you want to call RCI for every agreement that the country is making, then it's like a waste of resources. But I think they were quoting Liu Qintong, right? I think misquoting him, and so he came out. So this is very interesting. So to me, I see this as I mean, of course, Liu Qintong is always quite measured. I get the feeling he is not like a Trump fan, of course. I mean, you don't get a lot, but he is quite a realist, like in a sense, like, look, you have to deal with him. And this is the thing I feel the business community, in fact, even my boss was saying, after Trump came, he's like, I hope there'll be more certainty now and investment will come back. Is it the why investment don't come back? It's not because you cannot sell, you cannot buy. It's the uncertainty there. If I cannot do business for the next 5 years, why should I put millions here?
True.
So you can see generally in the business community, I think people are saying, hey, it's not such a bad thing. Like Trump is not the orange man.
Yeah.
I mean that's just my reaction from seeing the business people. Yeah, but what other? I mean, today is kind of like not very. We don't have a long agenda, but kind of like open reaction.
Yeah, I mean, like what David was mentioning just now, in terms of, I mean, I was just thinking, do you think there is also a shift in terms of the government's perception, where we are shifting away from like a single issue focus to like a bit more global, in a sense that, hey, actually, what's good for the betterment of the country? I mean, because you also look at what is happening in New York as well. Like, I mean, Mandani's election as the mayor, and generally, if you see like general perception of Gen Z, this is just general observation, is that they are very much like a champion for like a single issue, like, hey, affordability is the main issue here, but they don't really know or are generally interested in actually how does the government work? Where does all this money come from? Because if you want socialism, like what Margaret Thatcher said, and it's like at the end of the day, money is going to run out. Who's funding the money? But there is also, I felt like there is that sort of, well, like gap from that affordability with like, they kind of like somehow they link it not to massive government spending, but they actually link it to taxing the rich, because we don't tax the rich sufficiently. So I felt like there is a bit of that, but do you think there's like a shift away from this? I mean, with Trump's coming to Malaysia, where you felt like, I mean, is there a shift within the government in terms of like from a single issue focus to like a bit more global, hey, it's time for nation building? And then, but generally, like Gen Z, do they have like a shift from, like how do we bridge that sort of gap?
Yeah, I think after the Trump exit, I won't say it's the one time for all kind of solution, but interestingly, if you look at the Malay sentiment, it's very, I can say very interesting. Why? Because before that, they say Trump is a Zionist, he's a best friend of Netanyahu, etc. But after Trump come and they cannot expect such a good outcome. So they are like, yang berjoget bukan Trump, yang berjoget ekonomi Malaysia. I'm like, okay, nice, which is a nice thing. We want to improve our economy. We want to improve all the welfare and everything. But the thing is, I agree with you. We are not focusing on single issue anymore. We are more diverse. We are more just like what variety to focus on global issue and local issue as well. But just now you said the vibe things, the Gen Z used to, maybe they think affordable is tax the rich. The same thing actually applied to Trump. If you look at one of the video Trump dancing, actually got how many views? 100 million views around the world, just the dancing. So this is the vibe, and this is a great marketing strategies, and which is how Trump attract the Gen Z in the USA. Maybe in New York, the Gen Z love Mandani, but I think most of the youngsters in USA, they love Trump more because Trump got the vibe. Trump can have the trash talk to you, just have fun, just talk anything aside of political agenda, anything. But if you treat Trump as a people, he's just a interesting guy. So same apply to Malaysian, to the voters there. Just now before recording, we discussed about how to explain the government policy. Those are very boring policy into a very funny stuff. You got to have the same vibe. For example, the late Charlie Kirk, he got the vibe that he want to pursue the truth, the debate. So this is also the vibe, because the vibe of such to pursuing the truth. Donald Trump got a vibe to just trash talking, just make fun of people, just like what the Gen Z, just like the youngster would do lah. So why not? If you look at the politician in Malaysia, if you do a funny thing, maybe people will laugh at you. You might get famous and popular.
Yeah,
but at the same
minister.
time, if you can perform well, if you can articulate a boring policy into an interesting stuff, why not? For example, the affordable housing, which I'm more familiar with. If you say, if you vote me, you'll get a home with a lower price. Why? Because government subsidy you. Something is more attractive, but people will say, government subsidize you, and who give government money? So they can start to think. For example, a lot of the social housing, affordable housing in the Klang Valley, people will say, wow, 300,000 you can buy a home. But the market price is not there. How? Maybe there's something happening out there. So people will start to think. So I think people is not that dumb after so many years of hoo-ha, or so many years of so-called election and changing government. People are improving.
Definitely people are improving, and I guess at the end of the day, the charisma, the persuasiveness still matters, you know,
true.
because it's like I think very, very few people will vote strictly on policy only. It's like, and now talking about Trump's appeal, it's very interesting that, I mean, talking about the last general elections, his rating among Gen Z male is actually very, very high.
True.
So in fact, they were saying that if Trump is competing directly with Mandami in New York, it will be competitive.
Whoa.
And one-on-one. So of course, the other thing with New York is they have a split. You know, the Republican candidate is just crap, and then you have the establishment Democrat. Cuomo came out as an independent. So you kind of split it, and in the end, Mandami only got like 55%. So it's not as crazy as people think lah. You know, it's like, so I think just a couple of days ago he was saying, "Oh, I want to call Trump to talk about, you know, since he want to help people." So we shall see, because Trump still has influence in New York. Yeah. But the other thing you mentioned, which is quite interesting, talking about, of course, Lara, you also mentioned single issue, and one of the things we always mention in this show, it's just the Malaysians pivot towards Palestine, Gaza issue, and so, and of course, PMX have to defend all these things, and he talked about it. Ironically, there was a deal with Hamas, which was brokered by Trump, and of course, I think our government has to explain why they were not invited and things like that. Because actually, in reality, we are not a direct stakeholder, right? I mean, we are kind of far away. But here's the thing I want to ask both of you: do you feel there is a shift in this area? I mean, because you think about Gaza, Palestine, it's more than just a war there. It leads to the whole boycott, a whole Malaysian version of woke and things like that. I mean, we have seen this for the last 2-3 years, which to me personally is it's not healthy lah. But what do you think? Do you think there is a shift in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel actually there is a shift, because I kind of was pondering on this sort of issue for quite a bit. I felt like, because to a certain degree, I think there is a lot of rejection, because I mean, you're just talking about like the societal, the family makeup and things like that, and generally I think the rejected people will actually tend to feel more, and maybe that's why they're not able to like differentiate Hamas from Palestinian. And when you think about how they are the talking points, they always say that, hey, I mean, we're pro-Palestinian, how about the Palestinian children and things like that. But they don't want to come to that part of acknowledging that, hey, actually Palestinians people were the one who voted Hamas into the government in the first place.
Yep.
And to have to go back to that part of history, it means they have to acknowledge there is good, there is evil. And it's just a matter of fact that, I mean, Hamas is a recognized terrorist organization, and they are not kind to their people. So I think it's like there is that disconnection that I felt previously, and I felt like there is a bit of shift, because especially since Trump brokered the peace deal, and he didn't really like look at, okay, I mean, yes, you're talking about like you're negotiating with a terrorist here, but the thing is like it's more important to get all the hostages out. And so I think there is that piece, that part where people, you still feel for certain people. So I felt like here there is a bit of shift because you cannot like acknowledge that, hey, I mean, there was that release of hostages that were done by Trump. And so like, coming back to Malaysia here, I felt like because there are so many things that you can visually observe, and therefore there is a bit of that sort of shift, and they're not like keep trash talk Trump because, hey, I mean, because he did broker one of the greatest peace deal.
Yeah, I think the Gaza talk somewhat reduced a bit. Do you feel that, David?
True. I think there's a pivotal moment in the parliament after Donald Trump go back to the USA in the parliament. PMX answering a question during the PMQT time. It's like, do not be more China than China. Do not be more Hamas than Hamas.
Is he talking about himself? Not to sell.
I don't want to comment, but last time the another guy, which is our Timbalan Menteri Loa, saying that mentioned the same thing, because the 157 is keep promoting, we are welcoming Donald Trump, is blah blah blah, is giant.
I think he's on Sabah, right?
Our Timbalan Menteri. So I think it's a pivotal moment because even our home minister mentioned, actually Donald Trump make this deal happen. So why we need to do more thing than him? So why not is peace our goal? Yes. So let the peace be lah. So I think after this, you can see even PAS cannot do nothing. UMNO guy, they are keep quieting because they can see PMS is doing good for our country in this case. So I think in the future, what I need to let the people is think more. Don't follow your emotion, maybe. But how can we do that? Is I don't know.
It's not easy at all. And I remember even at the height of all this Gaza thing, and of course, you know, like what's PMX's position? You know, is it? I mean, we talk about it so many times, but it's not very easy to differentiate. Is it really his personal position, or he felt like he has to do it because of the Malay voters and things like that? So that part is always not very clear. But I remember even in Keluar Sekejap, KJ and Shahril, they from time to time they would say, look, you know, you don't go too far with US. You know, it's like, you know, talk about. But of course, I mean, you look at Trump coming here. I don't think Malaysia was ever in danger of any real sanction, because Malaysia is valued as a buffer to China. You know, a open door to other Islamic nations, considered moderate in many instances. So I think those in the know will know that we are like a top 10 semiconductor manufacturer in the world, and so many things which kind of like make us valuable as a trading partner to America. So but kind of I think the visit just kind of sealed the deal. So this issue, and in fact, now you have a peace already. If Malaysia wants to be involved in Gaza, you can, you know, send your army, send your whatever, you can, because you still need a lot of time to effect the actual peace. So you have a lot of participation, but it's no longer a political issue.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of people will be like, no, not interested anymore. I'm talking about people like Perikatan or those people. So, but interesting.
Yeah.
But do you reckon that actually PMX felt like, hey, I mean, because of this shift, I mean, actually you don't know that you're that popular with the people when you are not so single issue focused, like pro-Palestinian cause. It's like when he is a bit more muted on that. And therefore, I actually felt like he's more free to express his thoughts. I mean, even some of the political thoughts that previously would have been thought like, wow, it's a suicidal sort of movement. But yet he's like a bit more free. I mean, even he's like defending the economic deal with United States. And I felt like there is like that sort of freedom that suddenly just sort of like came out of him.
Yeah, I think the feel-good factor is there. And people is like suddenly get rational to look at all the things. Yeah, we are not cleaning any country. Yeah, we host all the superpower good. And Donald Trump is happy. Anwar is happy. And all the ASEAN country is happy. China happy. Korea happy. And China might not be that happy. But Japan and Korea, even the South Africa president is all the people happy. So after that, people will start realizing actually it's not a bad thing if we compare to all the situation. So yeah, it's a good thing, and people suddenly see that actually PMS have something to show to Malaysia. Not bad. But please do it in a domestic way. Please do it in Malaysia also as well. This is what the comment from my friends.
Actually, another very interesting thing, which is a bit more technical one, will be you look at Trump's style. He is really he is not like, I don't want to go through the whole organization like EU or United Nations. He is more bilateral kind of person, so nation to nation. So even when he's here, he had a bit of time with Lula also, talking about, because they have some trade tension there.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this approach? It's like you look at his almost more than 1 year into his presidency, and he cut USAID, he pulled out from Paris Accord. So his style is he doesn't trust all these globalist organizations, and many nations kind of like. Of course, it's not easy to do bilateral because you're really not the weight is not the same.
Yep.
But still, even Malaysia managed to have a pretty good deal in the end. So do you feel like people can see maybe sometimes it's better for us to just skip all this globalist intermediary? It's like, why do you want to pay an agent when you can get things done yourself, right? You're just paying agent's fee only.
I think from time to time, people will realize that actually if you move as an organization or a coalition, you have price to pay. Same with the political alliance and same with the national alliance. Because if you deal the US deal with ASEAN country as a whole, imagine if you want to tolerate the condition with Cambodia. I'm not belittling them, but different countries got different conditions, especially when we see ASEAN is more decentralized than we thought.
Yeah.
So, a country like Singapore, like Indonesia, Malaysia, the big country in ASEAN, I think they will kind of rugi lah in this term. So because you need to jaga the small country, you need to jaga the poor country. We consider ourselves in ASEAN is quite doing good. In this term, it's better to deal with America with one-to-one deal. And in the USA perspective, he's the largest buyer around the world. He can gain the best benefit by bilateral dealing with all the countries.
It's very interesting you say this because this is another point, right? Remember the early days of, once Liberation Day was announced and everyone is like, ASEAN should stick together. But I think people don't realize how divided we are, how different we are. And actually, most of the Asian nations are actually competitive with one another.
Yeah.
So how do you work together? But then another very interesting point people talk about, like EU, they say EU lost a lot of competitiveness because they become EU. For example, let's say I want engineering product. I can go to Germany previously, and if I don't like Germany for whatever reason, I can go to Italy, I can go to France. Now with EU, basically everything is very determined already, or you only do what you because they are basically competing against one another. Like they become a one economic zone. So like they don't have alternative already. So this is one of the real case study. And so in a way, it is precisely because of that EU can come up with a deal so quickly with US, which surprised a lot of people. It's like they came out with a deal before Canada, before Japan, before Korea. Wow, it's like, because it's just a few bureaucrats deciding. But you lose competitiveness, even though they are still the top 3 economy in the world. So we don't want to lose that uniqueness in Malaysia, right? I mean, it's like, you think about it, it's like, can you compete with Vietnam? Can you compete with even Cambodia? In terms of manufacturing, we may not be able to compete because our labor is not as cheap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even like palm oil, if there's a saying, for example, our palm oil, if the same rate we share the same rate with tariff with Indonesia, we might lose to Indonesia.
Yeah, because they're cheaper, right?
Yeah, they are cheaper and the scale are larger, much more larger than us. How can we compete? Another thing is our what do you call? Our other things, our goods are like cocoa, like all the things. So some people accuse that PMX is selling Malaysia to the USA, but actually please be fair enough lah. Yeah, we have 1,711 goods are exempted from tariff. And it included all our 12% of export to US, which is a good deal also. And if you look at the deal with other countries, people say in the deal, in the peace, not peace deal, in the act, the 5.0, that we didn't state that we need to safeguard our sovereignty of our nation, which actually is like easy tersirat and easy tersurat. If you written, but the content is not as good as the written thing, it's not like that. Like, compared with Cambodia, people like Cambodia got a clause that if the sovereignty of Cambodia harmed, we can tarik balik from this deal. But people don't know that all the goods from Cambodia are zero tariff to USA, but Malaysia we didn't have this clause. So back to the topic just now, we said bilateral deal is better for now.
Yeah,
it's better than a group to group deal.
Yeah, and it's customized. I mean, I heard a lot of people talk about the clause 5.0 because of Fizzy pointed out. But I think if you look at the agreement as it is constructed, you can pull out anytime.
Yeah,
it's very easy. You pull out, then you don't get the benefit, then I don't know, we go back to Liberation Day or whatever. I don't know. It's like I mean, as a net exporter, we can't afford this. Not with our biggers. I mean, they talk about trade partners and things like that. Of course, we sell petroleum to China also and things like that. But in terms of, I think the manufacturing gang is really very, very afraid that there's no deal because, I mean, you talk about crude oil, it's Petronas and things like that. But you talk about manufacturing, it's a lot of factories and things like that. A lot of business people are linked there. So if the tariff 19 to 25, it's maybe all your profit already for a quarter.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, I guess we are. I mean, it's fair to say we are quite bullish. But what do you say to people who remains very, very negative? And but of course we know there are people just trying to be negative or just trying to score political point. But do you feel there's a part that maybe a lot of people don't quite understand what's happening globally, and like there's a shift in terms of business deal, and since COVID time, people kind of trust government less and less and less. So all this, do you feel like people are getting adrift, or people still struggle? Because in very general term, and I mean, you see some very, very ridiculous comment will be like, okay, then don't sell anything to US. It's like what planet are you in? I mean, is it really the emotion or Trump derangement, or people really don't understand how it works?
I think after all, I remember the day when Donald Trump said tariff is the best
most beautiful word.
Most beautiful word. And people start to
think it's crazy.
Understanding this term, it's like actually tariff is not that bad.
We have a lot of tariff, man.
We also impose a lot of tariff.
It's the top one.
Yeah, our import car charged 100% tariff, man. But people don't talk about that. So after all, people start realizing actually, okay, despite Trump, whether you like it or not, he is still the POTUS. You have to deal with him. Or whether it's Biden, whether it's Obama, you have to deal with the world's largest economy. That's it. Period. So even we might change our prime minister, that is about nation to nation. If about business, so if you want to do business, just cut off your feeling. You might have a lot of worry. You might some tariff might harm your business, yes, but you just need to do what you need to do. That's it, to get back your money.
Yeah, it's like differentiate the office from the person, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and I think that's one of the things our government did very, very well. And I mean, the prelude to Trump coming, they kept emphasizing, we are dealing with the office. POTUS is the office, it's not just the person. But of course, then the whole thing became actually quite cordial and fun for our leaders, And now, I mean, since we're on this topic, let's talk a little bit. I mean, let's pivot a little bit to what's happening in US, because the whole tariff thing is now being challenged to Supreme Court. In fact, they already have oral oral listening. But of course, I think I don't think all this art, even if Supreme Court say you cannot use that portion for. Because you imagine if you are the Malaysian manufacturer and suddenly you cannot, the tariff deal cannot continue. I think you will also be very concerned, right?
True.
So, well, from what I've heard, that Trump has at least 3 or 4 laws that he can rely on. Now he's using the broadest one, emergency. He's using emergency. This is I think, can't remember. I think Gerald Ford signed the law. Basically, if it is an emergency, a threat to your economy, you can use tariff. That's the easiest to do. But they have other means. But do you? Do you feel like people are concerned about this kind of development, or is just too far away?
I think I did recall some video commentaries regarding the tariff, and some of the people are accusing me. It's like, wow, it's a garbage. You do the video is garbage. Now, the deal is not passed in U.S. Senate and U.S. House. So how can you do? But if I'm not mistaken,
But they confuse treaty with agreement, though.
Maybe
agreement you don't need ratification in Senate.
And also Trump can sign the EO and he can do almost everything. So, and another thing is Malaysia signed the deal already. So we don't care what happened really in America. Yeah. But as long as we sign the deal and US want to keep it, that's it lah. So there's a simple answer to all the doubter lah, I think.
In fact, if in the unlikely event the Supreme Court choose to intervene, actually, you know what the porters can do? They can simply ignore. It has happened before. Okay, but I really don't think the Supreme Court has the guts to do it. I mean, this is like it impacts so many nations. It's no joke, man. So, but anyway, that's just something that come off my head. So Lara, anything else? I mean, we kind of go many places already.
Yeah, we did go around the world.
Any other thing you want to say before we kind of wrap up today?
No, I thought it was kind of like a good. Although I mean, we're kind of like pretty chill about the whole thing. Actually, it's kind of like a good conversation. It's kind of like just bouncing ideas, and really, at the end of the day, it's like challenging our thinking to be a bit more open in the sense that we are able to like see things objectively. I mean, I think it's a good progression for Malaysia generally. It's like I felt like we have matured into a different stage altogether. I mean, in terms of how we view the democracy, how we are looking at the politics in this nation, and actually how do we deal with other nations? Because I mean, you have like ASEAN Summit where all the ASEAN countries are in competition with each other, and yet you are still able to make a very good outcome out of it. But at the same time, we're also dealing with superpowers, and we learn how to, well, I guess not walking on eggshells, but we're actually like learning to kind of like be a bit more synchronized with the world leaders. So I thought it was kind of like a great progression for Malaysia.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about, during dinner time, we talk. I mean, of course, now the current event is Sabah election, right, coming out. Maybe after the election, you should come and talk again, because it's very. It's like a first major test domestically for Madani, right? And but I mean, going back to what Lara said, I think we have progressed a bit. I do feel like this time you don't see a lot of. I mean, of course, campaign has not even begun, but it doesn't look like very cynical. When I say cynical, I'm talking about people kind of like don't want to vote because the hope defer kind of mindset, whatever we do. But it's quite competitive. A lot of people want to go down and make a difference. So I guess that's a sign of maturity that people will be like, look, it's tough, but we are still going to continue.
Yeah, I think maybe I doubt that opinion, because the election committee has sold out 2,000 borang of the candidate. 2,000 in Sabah. It's like crazy. Everyone want to contest, man. But I'm not sure who will show up during the nomination day. But I think it's a record high. So
for Sabah,
and I think the 40% court case really triggered the Sabahan. They want their rights back, and how federal government replying back actually is better than last federal government compared with the history. I think it's a good and healthy conversation between federal government and the Sabah government serve each other as a partner in terms of superior and inferior, which is a good progress.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, it's not, people don't really want to talk about this. I mean, even in Sarawak, you have all these PDA and things like that, but people don't want to go to court also. Actually, because they don't trust the court also.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I mean, of course, you get the Sabah minister who resigned, but then very quickly, federal government say not going to appeal. But then there's more caveat, all these things. So I was like, wow, so quick surrender already. But actually, there's condition, right? Things like that. But at least they are not like bulldozing in a way. They know how important. So how important Sabah. So okay, maybe as we end, David, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Give us one or two predictions you think from Sabah election. I mean, what do you think? I mean, not in terms of result, but just the general trend you think.
A general trend first, as a whole, I think Malaysian, we are progressing into a more mature, just like what Lyra said just now. We can think both opinions, we can compare, and we don't really what do you call, blindfolded trust in government and blindfolded trust in anybody, which is good. But we reasoning, we discuss, we have conversation. I think if 10 years back, 10 years before you told me this is how Malaysia can progress, I will be very grateful, which I can witness today is a good thing. And another thing is, there are competition between every government, every state, like Sabah, region, race, and everything. But I still have hope in every place in Malaysia, in every Malaysian, because as long as we hope, as long as we keep the hope, we keep the confidence there, I think we can, all of us can make Malaysia a better nation. It's like make Malaysia great again.
And in fact, somebody say that right recently. Who was the one who say make Malaysia great again? Somebody say that, from government.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think it's a sim from Bayan Baru, PKR. After the deal seal, he's like, make Malaysia great again.
Yeah. A few government official which have like kind of like it's like people doesn't want to associate with the whole MAGA thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you say like that, it's really
deep down inside their heart, it's like, yes, we can do this.
Yeah. So in a way, it's like the word MAGA has become not so stigmatized already.
True.
With Trump coming and things like that. So, but anyway, it has been fun. I know it's been 2 weeks already. We're a bit delayed. But anyway, I mean, the next time we come back, maybe we can talk about Sabah elections.
Yeah.
Come back to some domestic issue.
Yes.
Okay, I think our time is sort of run out already.
Yeah.
So thank you, David, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So hope you will be here soon. Not so long as
Yeah,
this
we'll
time.
do.
Okay, so that's it for now.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.